Okay, so pretty much the expected happened with the first pick in the draft. No one is surprised by that. You're not a magician if you got that right. You just paid attention. So yeah, Cincinnati took Joe Burrow. Uh, Once again, I compared him to Tony Romo. Uh, I think that's his ceiling. His floor will probably be about Alex Smith, who is a very good quarterback. But that's who his original college coaches compared him to was Alex Smith. Uh, Too bad Scott Frost at Nebraska didn't think he was better than the quarterbacks he had. Yikes. That's going to hurt you in recruitment, Scott. Okay, again, no surprise with the Washington Redskins taking Chase Young. Chase Young, defensive end, 6'5", 265 out of Ohio State. Has all the intangibles you look for in a defensive end. Uh, Being there with Coach Larry Johnson at Ohio State. I don't know why he's not a defensive coordinator or head coach by now. Um, but they've pushed out a lot of great defensive ends, and the comparisons for Chase Young are the same as the one I had: Miles Garrett, Julius Peppers, and also that quick I forgot his name, Jadeveon Clowney. Yes, some are also comparing him to Jadeveon Clowney. I can see that, but I think his play style is a. I think that's more related to the the height and weight and hair, but I think his play style is a lot closer to Miles Garrett with the potential to go to Julius Peppers. Okay, with the number 3 pick, Detroit did not make a trade. I was wrong. I had them trading out of the number 3 pick. Maybe they couldn't get enough. Maybe they oversold the number 3 pick, or maybe it was all just conjecture. Maybe they just changed their mind. But who they did select was not who I picked. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Who did I say? No, it was not who I picked. It was not who I picked. I had them trading down to number 6 and taking Derek Brown, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Wrong. They took who they were projected to take, which was Jeff Okuda, 6'1", 205-pound corner out of Ohio State. So now Ohio State has gone back to back with the number 2 and the number 3 pick. Again, best corner in the draft. There was a lot of dog in that dog. He has physicality, speed. He can play in any system. Great cover skills. He's a press corner. He's a man corner. He's his own corner. He's a corner's corner. Again, my comparison for him was Stephon Gilmore. I've heard other people compare him to Darrell Revis. I don't think I saw that. I like my comparison with Stephon Gilmore. Now, also remember um, him going to. I originally had him going 7 to Carolina, but that was based on a trade. But I'll live with it. That was based on San Diego coming up to 3, getting their quarterback, and then because I had them giving a corner along with their draft pick to move up to number 3. So this would have eliminated the need for Akuda if they had a veteran corner in the trade. But wrong is wrong. So Detroit Lions have taken Jeff Okuda, and I believe they got a good one. New York Giants are on the clock. I still think there could be a trade here, but I actually thought the percentage of a trade here with the Giants was lower than the chance than it was with the Lions. But I was just wrong there. I could be wrong again. We'll see. Okay, New York Giants have made their pick, and they've gone with offensive tackle Andrew Thomas out of UGA. Wrong again. I had them entertaining the idea of trade, and I had Andrew Thomas going number 11 to the New York Giants. Again, and he was not my first tackle off the board. My first tackle was supposed to be Tristan Wilf, but hey. So again, 6'5", 315, solid tackle. Can play left, can play right. Not super athletic. I think he will struggle with the quicker edge rush defensive ends, corners off the edge. Um, like I said, good mirror blocker, very physical, has quick feet, but I think he has to work with his spacing to use the level of quickness that he has to protect his quarterback at the NFL level. Again, can be a waist bender, and sometimes he lunges after blitzers, but that's because he lacks the athleticism to stay with him. So, number 4, I had the position right, but not the player. I don't think that counts as credit for getting it right, but it is what it is. Number 5 is next with Miami. Okay, so the Miami Dolphins did what we all expect. This almost for me, and I'm the one doing this and I'm the one critiquing myself. This almost for me doesn't really seem like I got it right per se. They were tanking for Tua all last year. This was the guy in the building that they wanted. The only thing that made them question if they still want, although publicly they'll say, we never doubted him for a second. The only thing that made them question it was the injuries coming out of Alabama. But again, Tua Tagovailoa, if you don't know who that is by now, shame on you. You watched him on TV for 3 years. He was on TV literally every week for 3 years. 6'1", 218, accurate, calm, poised. He has all the essentials that you want. Most people want a 6'5" quarterback, but hey, Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame for barely being 6 feet. Russell Wilson will do the same thing, and hell, I thought that whole myth was dispelled when Doug Flutie at 5'7" made the damn Pro Bowl. But either way, my comparison for him was somewhere between Russell and Drew Brees. Drees. But Tua Tagovailoa to the Miami Dolphins. And for us Marino fans out there, don't worry. He is not married to the number 13, nor will he request to wear number 13. He's already said that he wore number 10 and other numbers, and they just gave him 13 at Alabama. He's not going to ask Dan Marino to wear his number. It's not that serious. And on to number 6. San Diego. See, I'm still doing it. Los Angeles Chargers. Let's see who they take. Absolutely no surprise there. The Chargers select Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. Now, I had the Chargers taking Justin Herbert. I just had them moving up to get him. They didn't have to move up. He was right there at 6. I did think they would move up out of fear or paranoia or out of safety, whatever word you want to use, but they didn't. So I got the team right, got the guy right, didn't get the pick right. So their original pick was 6. They stayed at 6 and still got the guy they wanted last year, the guy they want this year, the guy they want for the next 10 years. I got the guy, got the team. I just swapped the pick for no reason. Okay, so number 7, Carolina's on the clock. I originally had them getting Jeff Okudah. He's gone. Hopefully, it's not Isaiah Simmons, but I would not be surprised. One of the men I compared Isaiah Simmons to was Thomas Davis Sr., who was a versatile player coming out of college, and he played for Carolina. So, but that was also a different administration too. Ron Rivera is now in Washington, and we'll see what the new coaching staff does. They may go offense. They may take a quarterback. They may take Justin Love, somebody who can sit behind Teddy Bridge and learn for about a year or two if necessary. Yeah, but we'll see. Okay, so Carolina did the very smart thing by going with Derek Brown. Derek Brown An explosive defensive tackle at 6'4", 322. Very strong. He fits in a 3-4 or a 4-3 scheme. Changes directions very well, as I mentioned in the previous video. My comparison, I said he's the best. If he went to Detroit, he would be the best D lineman they had since Ndamukong Suh. I likened him to a heavier Geno Atkins. I did hear someone on radio liken him to a quicker Haloti Ngata. I'm not mad at that comparison. I'm only mad I didn't think of it. So Carolina stays at number 7, doesn't trade up or down, and selects Derek Brown. And then the Arizona Cardinals stole my guy. I knew he wouldn't slip, but I hoped he did. They stole Isaiah Simmons. They took him away from my Raider Nation. It's always the damn Cardinals. That's okay. We'll get him in free agency. But Isaiah Simmons, 6'4", 238, ran a 4.3 at the combine. Has been called an alien, a unicorn, something none of us have ever seen. I think the best quote about him came from him when he said, "There are 53 men on the roster, and if you draft me, you get 56. That's just how versatile he is. He can play 4 different positions and play them all well. Once again, I said Isaiah Simmons from Clemson was a combination of Derwin James and Thomas Davis Sr. with 4.3 speed. Let's see what happens next. Okay, at number 9, the Jacksonville Jaguars made a fool out of me. I had them going with Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Nope. They went with corner C.J. Henderson, who I had going 16th to Atlanta, out of the University of Florida. Very good cover corner. Does everything well except tackle. I still like my comparison for him, which was Marcus Peters, who's a very good corner and does everything well except tackle. Number 10 is Cleveland, who I have taking Mekhi Becton. Let's see if I'm right. This is the fun of the draft. I love participating in it. And I like guessing. I always have, I always will. That won't change about me. But I was close. Again, I got the position right, not the player. So I had the Browns at number 10, taking Mekhi Becton out of Louisville. They selected Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out of Alabama, who I had going 9 to the Jags. So I was a pick early with Wills. But I had him going 10th. He went 9th. So my evaluation was similar to theirs. Yeah. So the Browns with Wills. Number 11. Now I originally had Andrew Thomas going here at 11. He's already gone. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know what they're going to do. Maybe the Jets go Mekhi Becton now that he's still on the board, because they do have to protect Sam Darnold. So I'll go out on a limb and I'll say that I keep the run of tackles, because I had 3 tackles in a row going 9, 10, and 11. I'll assume I'm going to keep the run going, and I'll say the Jets will now take Mekhi Becton. Oh, but wait, Tristan Welfer's still out there. Oh, I'll say they're going to go and stay with tackle. Okay, so I got it right. So I originally had the Jets taking Andrew Thomas. He's already gone. And then my second tackle selection for the Jets was who I had going at 10 to the Browns was Mekhi Becton, 6'7", 357. and ran a 5.1 in the 40, which means if he came to the combine at about 3:30, he would have run a 4.9. I truly believe that. Very fast. Again, I related him to a quicker Trent Brown. Yeah, I think the Jets get a good one. Solid offensive tackle, has a lot of good attributes. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about him. He has all the tools. He's just going to have to do a little more polishing on just the basics. He doesn't. I don't think he's going to need a lot of teaching. But excuse me. Of course, I'm eating just like you. Let's see what my Raiders do at 12. I hope it's Jerry Judy, since it's clearly not going to be Isaiah Simmons. All right, let's see what they do. Okay, I got the position right, not the player. Um, I did think that the Raiders would go with Jerry Judy if they weren't able to get Isaiah Simmons. They were not able to get Simmons. He was stolen by the Arizona Cardinals. And I did think that they would go Jerry Judy. I thought a precision route runner would make the eyes of John Gruden, who is a former wide receiver coach. I thought that would be right up his alley. But he did go with the receiver. I did like Judy a little more than Ruggs because I thought he was a do-it-all receiver with, again, great route running. Um, but Henry Ruggs III is a good one. I hope he stays healthy because sometimes the speed guys don't, but I hope he does. And if he can have the career of the guys that I compared him to, then the Raiders win. Because he does have elite speed. He wanted to break John Ross's record at the combine, which is 4.22. He ran the 4.27 and then had a hamstring twinge and didn't run again. So I don't know. I'm already nervous as a Raider fan. But elite speed, home run hitter, stretches the field very well, and is a better blocker than you would think. He's a very good blocker. Um, Not going to be a 50-50 receiver, even though he will go up. The 50-50 ball is not his thing. But with his speed, it shouldn't be, unless some safety is literally just playing center field. But I compared him to, I said he's somewhere in between Deshaun Jackson and Tyreek Hill. If we get 10 years of either one, all praise be to whatever God you worship. Raider fans, we won. Now, the interesting thing is, I did have Ruggs going in about this same area. I had him going to the San Francisco 49ers at the very next pick. The Niners have been in trade talks with the world. Uh, so they may still go receiver. I have no idea what they're going to do. They may trade out. I do think they're more likely to trade out at 31 than 13. They may add depth on the D line to replace the Buckner trade, although I had them filling that spot at 31. Or they could go receiver with Judy, uh, with CeeDee Lamb. That's possible. Or with Jefferson out of LSU. They may go tall. They may go Sims and shock the world and go Sims. I don't know. Let's see what they do. Okay, so I did call the trade. I also said there would be 5 trades in the first round. So far, we're at pick 14, and there's only been one. The Tampa Bay Bucks have moved up from 14 to 13. Again, I had the Niners taking Henry Ruggs III. He went to the Raiders. San Francisco traded back to 14. Tampa Bay came up to 13 and selected Tristan Wirth, who was the most talked about lineman, if not player, well, lineman at the draft because of the show that he put on. Now, I originally had Wirth going 4 to the Giants. So 4 to 13 is not too bad of a drop. The Giants kind of shocked me. I thought that would be the fit. So the Niners have now moved down to 14. I'm going to call it right here. I'm going to call DeAndre Swift. He totally fits that offense. Yeah. I'm going to call DeAndre Swift. Why not? Been wrong all night. Let's see. Let's see if I get one right. Wrong again. So I thought the Niners would go with CeeDee Lamb. Then I got bold and said they would take DeAndre Swift. If he's there at 31, maybe he still fits that offense. But no. So I had Tampa Bay taking Jonathan Taylor. They traded up one pick to not do that. They took Tristan Wirfs, and San Francisco moved back to 14, and they took Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle out of South Carolina, who I had going 15 to the Denver Broncos. So I'm kind of in the same area again, just wrong team. But Kinlaw is being drafted to replace DeForest Buckner. I thought they would fill that need at 31 with Raekwon Davis out of Alabama. He's 6'7", 320, give or take. Yeah. So Javon Kinlaw has all the attributes. The knock on him is a lack of pass rush moves, which is why I did not fall in love with the comparisons I was reading, comparing him to Richard Seymour. I thought that was a big jump. I said before, I don't see Richard Seymour. If he becomes it, then congratulations to him. But people are going to want to see the sacks. Unfortunately, that's how people judge production in the NFL now, is just sacks. Like if you're a shitty defensive lineman but you get 10 sacks, then you're good. If you do everything else wrong but get 10 sacks, oh well, yeah, you're good. So, yeah. All the tools, has all the attributes, just lacks a little production. For his skills, people just feel like there should have been more production. And from watching the tape, I can kind of see why they say that. But Richard Seymour, I am not ready to go that far. If Richard Seymour comes out and says, yeah, that guy reminds me of me, then okay. Until then, my friend. Oh, ha! Okay. So, Denver selected the receiver I wanted in Jerry Jeudy, best route runner in the draft. They selected a receiver who will pair very well with Cortland Sutton, who my comparison for Cortland Sutton was AJ Green when he came out of SMU. So to have an AJ Green type player with Jerry Jeudy, whether he's in the slot or not, I understand that the majority of his receptions came in the slot. Whether they did or didn't, he's still going to be very effective. Hopefully, he's just not effective against my Raiders. All right, so Atlanta is now picking at 16. I had them taking C.J. Henderson. They clearly cannot do that. He's already been selected. I don't know. They could go with another corner. They could go safety with Xavier McKinley. They could go with Christian Fulton out of LSU at corner, who I had going somewhere else. I don't know what the Falcons are going to do. They may surprise us. They may go for another receiver. They did trade away Mohamed Sanu, so they may go receiver. They may take CeeDee Lamb and give some help to Julio Jones. So let's see. They could go tight end. No one's guessing tight end. I don't think anyone has a tight end in the first round. But they did trade away their tight end to the Browns, right? Yeah, so they could go tight end. Maybe the guy out of Dayton, the guy out of was it FIU? Let's see. Okay. Um, right position. Wrong player. So I had the Falcons taking CJ Henderson. He's already gone. I guessed that they would probably take Kristen Fulton out of LSU. But no, they took AJ Terrell, who I had going 29 to the Tennessee Titans. So I got the position right, and it would appear that I underevaluated AJ Terrell because 16 and 29, that's not close. That's not close. But the Cowboys are up next, and I had them taking Xavier McKinney. I mean, he's going to be the best safety in the draft. If they go with another safety, maybe they like the one out of LSU. I believe his name is DePitt. I'm sorry, I know I'm not saying that right. I would be very surprised if they went with the safety out of Northern Iowa. Is it Northern Iowa? No, not Northern. Is it Southern Illinois? The guy at the Division One AA school. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. But I didn't have him going in the first round. I had him going in the second, so he's not on my list right now. But if they don't go safety, maybe they go defensive end with Chason, the edge rusher out of LSU. They could go linebacker here. They could go Patrick Queen. They can go corner. I think they go Xavier McKinney though. Let's see. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give myself a little credit. I'm close, but I'm not exactly hitting home runs. But I think I'm getting on base here. Uh, I did have the Dolphins at 18. They stayed at 18. I had them taking offensive tackle. They took an offensive tackle. I just picked the wrong one. I had them taking Joshua Jones out of Houston. They took Austin Jackson out of USC. I did not have him in the first round. Um, Young guy, 20 years old, missed the beginning of the season at USC for a good reason. Well, he didn't miss the beginning of the season. He had a slow start in the off season because he was recovering from bone marrow transplant surgery that he did to help his sister, who has a rare disease and needed bone marrow, and he did that for his sister. So I don't think we need to question his character at all. Because if bone marrow is anything, what I hear it is to sacrifice your career for a sister. I mean, I get that. And then to overcome it, have a slow start to the regular season, and still go in the first round. I mean, he's 20 years old. He's going to need some work. He's going to need some coaching. But Brian Flores is down there with the Dolphins. I don't think coaching is going to be an issue. So I got the pick, didn't get the player. Let's see what my Raiders do next. At 19, I did have them taking Jerry Jeudy. He's already gone at 15 to the Broncos. Boo. Um, Hopefully, they go with my other selection that I wanted at this pick, which was Kenneth Murray, who, had it not been for Isaiah Simmons, would be regarded as the best linebacker in this draft. He's naturally a middle linebacker, sideline and sideline and back, who can play outside. I hope we get him for all the reasons I just said. Okay, So the Raiders shocked the hell out of me, and I'm assuming everybody else, because instead of taking anyone that we all projected would be in the first round, they took 5'11" corner out of Ohio State, who played opposite of Okuda, Damon Arnett. I did not evaluate Damon Arnett, so I don't know. I don't know how good Damon Arnett is. Clearly worthy of being the first round pick. A lot of people had him second. Um, of the corners I looked at, he was not one of them. Not shit. I actually tried to guess what the Raiders would do. I definitely thought they would trade back with this number 19 pick to get more because we don't have a second round pick. So I thought they would trade back. I also predicted that they would trade Gabe Jackson to try to acquire second round picks and or other picks, whatever they can get for him. That may still be in the works. Um, but yeah, I had them getting a corner probably in the second or third round. Second, of course, depending on the trade, but definitely third round. I had them selecting, oh, I forgot his name, the corner out of Tulsa. He's about 6'1", 6'2". Appears to be a bit of a press man corner. It's a little stiff in the hips, but I like him, and I think in the slot, um, he can be pretty good, especially against tight ends. So we officially have our first surprise, Damon Arnett out of Ohio State. And if I'm not mistaken, this pick is the last pick in the Khalil Mack trade. I think this is our last Chicago pick. So he really has to work out, or else that trade gets put in question again. Although I no longer question it, seeing how well Mike Mayock and John Gruden have selected players. But shit, Damon Arnett. I mean, this guy has to he has to kill it, or else Raider fans will kill him. He he literally has to kill it. So we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so we have now entered the surprise portion of the draft. So the Raiders kicked it off by taking Damon Arnett. I still haven't remembered his name. Got to keep looking at it. Now I got to go back and watch film on this guy to see if I like what they like. But the Jags, again, I got the position right, not the player. Um, because I do believe the Jags are tanking, which is why I had them going with an offensive lineman earlier, the defensive lineman in the second. I think they're going to try to add quality players in the draft while they tank. They don't want anyone dynamic in the first round because they're holding out for Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson, and it would make sense because he's in the Carolinas, so that whole fan base will just migrate down to Jacksonville. It's not that far a trip if you're in the South, which is what many people believe the Panthers are also doing, and what the Patriots want to do is that they want to tank to get either Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. But I had the Jags taking a defensive end out of Penn State. They went defensive end. I said all of that to come right back to this. They went defensive end, but they went with Clavon Chason, who I had going to Seattle. I like him. He's fast off the edge. Can play a little backer. He'll probably be pretty good in the flat. Um, yeah. And I also compared him to Bruce Irving, which is one of the reasons why I had him going to Seattle if he wasn't selected before they did. I felt like he was the kind of thin, wiry, fast edge rusher that Pete Carroll likes. I thought he was literally a Pete Carroll guy. He may be a Pete Carroll guy. Um, we won't know until Pete tells us if he liked him or not. Philly went 21. I had them going with Kenneth Murray. They bypassed Kenneth Murray and went with another surprise, Jalen Rager, 5'10" receiver out of TCU. Very fast, has faster football speed than track speed. I think he ran a 4.4 at the combine, but he looks like a 4.3 guy. I also did not have him going in the first round. So we're at the Vikings, and I had them taking Justin Jefferson out of LSU, who is sitting right there. So, according to the current trend, we're going to be surprised again, and I'm going to be wrong. So, but let's see what happens. Okay, surprise, surprise. I got one right again. Yikes. So I had the Minnesota Vikings taking Justin Jefferson, and they took him. Ha. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not even going to evaluate anything else. I have been striking out all night. I got one exactly right. Pick, position, and player. I think I'm up to 3. Oh, but it's the draft and I'm having fun. New England has traded out of their 23rd pick. No surprise there. They don't do well in the first round anyway. They haven't selected a Pro Bowler really since Gronk. N'Keal Harry, the receiver they selected last year out of Arizona State, has some injuries and other situations, so he hasn't really panned out. And they haven't drafted a receiver well in years, and it looks like as of now that trend continues. Hopefully, they have a losing trend that continues for the next 20 years. Um, it is what it is. So let's see, because they traded the pick to the Chargers. So this is now the 3rd trade. I called 5. So let's see if I get 2 more. Hopefully somebody takes Gabe Jackson and gives my Raiders a way back into the first round, or at least a 2nd round pick or something. But I had New England taking AJ Epinesa out of Iowa. I thought he was a safe New England pick. And I do have Jordan Love going at 24 to the Saints, who is still available. So let's see what the Chargers do. They may go offensive line. They may go. I don't know. I don't know. I did not foresee them. They ruined my trade. I had them going up. Here they are trading back in. I don't know where they're going. It's not tight end. They signed a running back. Where? Maybe they find. I think they're just going to go with best player available, whoever they feel is the most dynamic. And then the most intriguing at this point for me is the Saints, because they can either go Jordan Love or they can go Jalen Hurts right here and secure the future at the quarterback position, because I do not believe it is Taysom Hill. So let's see what they do. Okay, Damon Arnett, you officially had better pan out now, because the guy I wanted, Kenneth Murray, has just been drafted by the damn Chargers, who moved up. They traded with New England, moved up to 23 to come get Kenneth Murray. So I'm putting it on you, Damon Murray. I need Pro Bowl. I need Pro Bowl as a rookie right now. 7 picks, because they skipped my guy to get you. So you better work. Let's see what the Saints do. I'm low key. Okay, the surprises continue, at least for me. So the New Orleans Saints did not take Jordan Love as I predicted. Man, I wanted them to take Jordan Love. They took Cesar Ruiz, center, out of Michigan. He has played some guard. He's good at that. Many say he would have went first round at guard or center. He said he was born to play center. I say put the man at center. Especially if he's ready. If he's not ready to protect the legend, then hold him off. So I said it was 3 trades earlier. It was 2. The 3rd trade has just been made. So San Francisco has traded their 31st and 100-something pick to move back into the first round, or to move higher into the first round. and they've taken the Minnesota Vikings. They traded with the Minnesota Vikings. They traded up to 25 from 31, and they have selected Brandon Ayuk, the 5'11 center, the 5'11 wide receiver with the 82-inch wingspan, which basically means his arms are the length of a man who would be about 6'4". So he's just under 6 feet, but his arms are 6'4". So he is a go get it guy. He's good with the run after the catch, and he will go up over DBs. And with the 81-inch wingspan, he better be good at it. Uh, what's next is Miami, and I had them taking DeAndre Swift. Let's see if they do. Jonathan Taylor is still available if they're going to go running back. Um, I'm, I don't know. I almost don't even want to guess right now. I'll say Miami sticks with the pick. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. I had Jordan Love going 24 to the Saints. I don't know why they passed him up. They could have secured the future at the quarterback position, just like the Green Bay Packers did, which is very interesting because Green Bay traded up from 30 to 26, made a trade with Miami, and they got Jordan Love. Jordan Love has the best arm talent in the draft. Forget the evaluation. Let's go with Isn't That Funny? Aaron Rodgers is the same age Brett Favre was when they drafted him at pick 24. Now, at that same age, his same organization drafts a quarterback at pick 26 who I had going at pick 24. Funny how the tables turn. There are plenty of reports out there that, Aaron was sort of nitpicky with Brett Favre. There's a story out that Brett Favre was reading the morning paper like after breakfast or something, and Aaron Rodgers walked into a room and said, walked into the room and said, "Hey, Grandpa." And because he has reading glasses, so they say Brett Favre just looked at him. So when we heard these reports about Brett Favre saying, "I'm not gonna coach him up. It's not my job to groom the young guy to take my job," we looked at Brett like he was y'all looked at Brett like he was the bad guy. But we found out later a lot of that was a response to Aaron Rodgers. He's since said he was trying to be funny in situations like that, trying to remove the awkwardness of being the replacement to a legend with humor. But because he's not a funny guy, it just came off as more awkwardness. So hopefully Jordan Love doesn't do that. But isn't it funny how the tables turn? Because once reports came out that the Packers were looking at Jordan Love, excuse me, were looking at Jordan Love, suddenly Aaron Rodgers had a comment in a local establishment, sports establishment in the local paper in Green Bay that he said he wanted to play until he was 40 or 45. He had never really said that before. Soon as there were rumors about them selecting a quarterback, suddenly he came out with this "I want to play until I'm 40" thing. They didn't buy it, believe it, or care. What is interesting to me is that people were making lazy comparisons or nigger comparisons and just simply calling Jordan Love, Colin Kaepernick, which their playing styles are not the same. They just took, black guy runs around, black guy runs around. All right. That's all they do. They always compare black to black and white to white. Um, there were some who fairly said he had Peyton Patrick Mahomes qualities. I didn't. What's interesting to me is that I compared him to a jazz musician, the same as I've compared Aaron Rodgers. What that means is, as I said in the previous video, Aaron Rodgers has the ability to run any offense, just like a jazz musician has the ability to play any note. It's like a saxophone player or a trumpet player. He's on the horn, kind of like Miles Davis. Miles Davis could just stop and just play a crazy note or play the same note you would play, but amplify it in a different way. And that's Aaron Rodgers. When he ad libs, it's like watching a jazz musician play. If you really evaluate Jordan Love and not just give a lazy comparison, he does the same thing. That was the knock on him. It's the same knock on Aaron Rodgers, that he can make things happen, but the problem is he knows he can make things happen, so he tries too hard to make things happen. They basically just drafted the same guy they already have. Now, I didn't think they'd go Jordan Love. I thought they'd go receiver or linebacker, but hey, this is the draft, man. Sometimes teams fool everybody. Let's see what Seattle does. I had them taking Kevlon Kashan because I thought he would be a Pete Carroll guy and would remind Pete of Bruce Irving, somebody he wanted in high school, uh, somebody he wanted coming out of high school. Couldn't get him when he went to USC and Bruce Irving chose West Virginia. Then he got him as a pro in Seattle. Excuse me. So, yeah, I got to learn to stop saying and just keep talking. But let's see what Seattle does. And then I said, and then Baltimore, I still have them taking Patrick Queen. The Titans, they have to do something else. I had them taking AJ Terrell. He's not there. The Pack, I had them taking Zach Bond. He's not there. Well, he's still there, but they aren't there at 30. And clearly they weren't thinking linebacker. They took Jordan Love. And we will see what happens at 31 and 32. And at 32, I still have the Chiefs taking Cushionberry. I love saying that guy's name for whatever reason. Cushionberry. Let's see what happens. Okay, I would be serious. I would like to know where Jordan Brooks was on the draft board for Seattle, and I would like to know if Chason was ranked higher than him. I want to know if he was their second option. Either way, I think he was a good pick. Seattle selected Brooks, a 4.5 40 linebacker out of Texas Tech. He's what I call a space linebacker. He played in a conference where they did a lot of passing, a lot of screens, a lot of short routes. They played against a lot of spread offenses in the NFC West. That's going to be very good. Even he's going to be good just for going against Arizona because they're going to spread the ball out. They're going to spread out the defense. Kyler Murray's going to be able to run around when necessary. So you got to have fast guys who can cover and who can react with speed. This is a speed pick. This is a Pete Carroll pick. They love speed at on defense, which is why I had them going with Chason. I like this pick. I didn't have this gentleman going in the first round. I had him going early second. Another surprise for me. Let's see if I'm right with Baltimore. Yeah, because that's interesting because Patrick Queen is probably a little faster than Brooks, and they didn't pick him. But again, I was concerned with his previous injuries and his lack of experience, which is why I had him going to Baltimore because he doesn't have to do that much. He won't be responsible for manning the defense or leading the defense. He would just be able to plug and play. So let's see if Baltimore sticks with my pick. Hey, got one right. So Baltimore did take Patrick Queen at linebacker, very fast, only 6 feet. A little undersized, but once again, his he didn't start the season for LSU. Someone got hurt. He filled in and then exploded. So for those who didn't hear of him before last season started, that's why. He does need to develop. He doesn't have a lot of experience because he didn't play that much. But he did play big when he played. So my comparison for him was Miles Jack. Just imagine that Baltimore defense from last year at Calais Campbell and Miles Jack. And that's what you have now with Patrick Queen. Again, I don't think they're going to just let him play. They're just going to let him play and let him learn as he goes along because the defense is so good. They'll be able to cover any mistakes he might make, or they just may say, hey, these are the 4 things you do well. You're only going to do this until. But we'll see. 29 Titans. I had them taking AJ Terrell from Clemson. They may still go corner. Titans. If they may still go corner, but let's say if they stay at corner, then I'll go with Christian Fulton or the guy out of Tulane. That's my guess. So the Titans went with Isaiah Wilson, tackle 6'6", 350, a little raw, a little rough behind the edges. But he may be a diamond in the rough. Most people think he will be. I'm not going to slam the pick. There's no need to. Conklin, they lost Conklin to the Browns in free agency. So it makes sense that they would want to fill a need at the tackle position. And with the run-based offense, run blocking is what he does better than pass. So, and then there's going to be a lot of spread offense. This Georgia offense isn't too far from what the Titans did last year. They're basically just going to go big and just manhandle people, for 16 games. So, let's see what happens next. Okay, we got surprised. Miami made the trade. They traded back to 30, and they went with Noah Igbenogany. Now, wait till I get on camera to burp. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. We all thought they'd go offense, running back. Most people thought running back. I had them taking DeAndre Swift. But no, they went with Noah Igbenogany. But I get why they did it. You have to remember that Flores was a coach with New England. Bill Belichick believes that you build a defense from the cornerback position up, not the defensive line position back. It's worked for him, so I see why Flores would go with it. Now, they do have very expensive corners that they've paid for. Was it Howard and Byron Jones? So Noah Igbenogany will be their nickel corner. You don't have to worry about him trying to start or anything. They will groom him properly. He will be the nickel corner. Most of his coverage was in the slot anyway, so he's going to fit right in. They'll take care of the outside. He'll take care of the inside, and which should help their defense get a better pass rush. So again, we all got surprised, but if you think philosophically, we shouldn't have been surprised. Okay, so the Vikings picked 31. I got the position right, not the player. I had them taking Fulton out of LSU. They took Jeff Gladney, out of TCU. He's a little more raw to me than Fulton. Fulton, unless he gets selected by the Chiefs, will not be a first-round pick. But hey, things happen. I think life will work out great for him just fine. But with Gladney, he's a little raw, very good. He's smart. He just has some things to work on as far as technique and just reading plays and timing the deep ball a little better. Well, I should say tracking the ball a little better. But I think it's a good pick for Minnesota with their scheme and players around him. He should fit right in with his skill set and what they do. This should be a smooth transition from TCU to Minnesota. Okay, so the first round has concluded with the 32nd pick going to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they selected Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Of course, I had them taking Cushenberry. I just like saying his name. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a very good running back. He's a bit of a pinball kind of a running back, 5'8", 5'9", 200 plus pounds. I compared him to Mark Ingram. I think that's a very good comparison. That's essentially what he is. He's Mark Ingram with a little bit of a faster. He just looks quicker than Mark Ingram. I know he only ran a little bit faster than Mark Ingram did at the combine, but I heard Daniel Jeremiah compare him to Priest Holmes, who was about 5'9", 5'10", and then considering that I didn't even think of Priest Holmes. Their running styles are similar, except Priest for me had more power. And he didn't look 5'10". He looked like he was like 6'1". He looked bigger or just played bigger than what he was. But former Chief back, and they get another similar type running back for the Chiefs in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So either comparison for me works. This concludes the first round of the NFL draft. I got a few of them right. So Burrow I got right. So that's one. Chase I got right. I got San Diego right. I got the pick wrong. Giants. Totally got that one wrong. I got the position right. Player wrong. Miami. Got that right. Chargers. Detroit. Got that wrong. Carolina wrong. Here comes a stretch of wrong. I did have the Cardinals taking CeeDee Lamb. They took Isaiah Simmons. They stole my guy. I called 5 trades. There were 4, so I wasn't too far off there. As far as the amount of tackles, I had the amount of tackles right, just not they weren't in the right order, and there were 2 tackles I didn't have going that did. I didn't have Jackson, Austin Jackson out of USC going in the first. And I didn't have Isaiah Wilson going in the first. So I got the number of tackles right, just not the players. But all in all, a good draft. I think the big surprise for me was the Raiders taking Arnett out of Ohio State. I did not see that coming at all. I thought they would go with Kenneth Murray, Patrick Queen, maybe Zach Bond at that pick. Maybe I wanted another linebacker more than they did, obviously. Hopefully they can execute something to get back into the second round because they don't have a second round pick. I would like to add some depth. Again, I called it like a month or so ago. The Raiders were just signing too many guards. They were just accumulating too much depth at the guard position for them not to be considering trading Gabe Jackson. He did have some injuries last year. He has a big contract. I think he will get traded after Washington makes their trade. They're looking to get a second round pick for their guy. So I think once he goes first, then I think Gabe will go afterwards. And hopefully, as long as we get a second round, I don't care how high or low it is in the draft. I just want to get players in every round, quality players in each round, because we did get Max Crosby in the 4th, but you're not guaranteed to always get a Max Crosby type player in the 4th round. So I want to get talent in every round as a Raider fan. Hopefully they fill some more needs at corner, at linebacker. They're probably going to add some depth on the offensive line. I would not be surprised if they add more receiver or running back help. I really want what's his name? Antonio Gibson. out of Kentucky. A lot of people are already comparing him to Randall Cobb. No, that's the quarterback they're comparing to Randall Cobb, because Randall Cobb played quarterback and receiver and special teams at Kentucky, and this guy, the quarterback, sort of does all of those things. But Antonio Gibson played running back and receiver, and getting him in the second or third round is you're literally getting two players. So hopefully the Raiders can pull that off, or they might just continue to keep surprising us because nobody saw Damon Arnett coming. Not even the professionals had that on the way. But I am Aaron Absolute. This has been the draft reaction for 2020. You can check the video of my mock draft, and you can see that I didn't lie. So all the people that I said I had picked, I had them. When I was wrong, I called myself out. When I was right, I didn't gloat. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video because it's going to be a long one. See you next time. I am Aaron Absolute, and always enjoy yourself.